All right, so this says that I'm live here finally. And yeah, here we are. All right, this is my WWE Monday Night Raw review, recap, whatever, for October 30th, 2017. This was I guess, the Raw Halloween edition, if you will, because apparently for every single holiday show, there has to be a gimmick-themed holiday match. Why? I just don't know why, but it's so demoralizing. Overall, I'm going to be honest, this Raw sucked. Hands down, completely sucked. It's crazy. Many years ago, right, me and my friends would watch wrestling, what have you, back when we were kids, right? And we would, watch Raw, we would watch SmackDown, WCW back in the day, what have you, and talk about it during school. Again, we were all kids. And now, all my friends, that at one time watched wrestling, they all grew out of it, right? I'm like the only one who hasn't, what have you. It is what it is. And I'm hitting that point now where it's like, why am I still watching this at times, Because I'll be honest, as of late, the product as a whole has been just atrocious. Both SmackDown, Raw, it's just been utter atrocity, and tonight was no different. But as always, guys, give me your thoughts down below in the comment threads of this video or the stream, what have you guys. Thank you all for tuning into the video, into the stream, and give me your thoughts down below. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven, but y'all already know that by now, all right? It's Steve. So, Raw was live tonight from Baltimore, Maryland. And you would think that with tonight, we would expect something, to get us excited, get us, ready for Survivor Series coming up, right? 'Cause that, again, it's what people are anticipating, what's Raw response, right? And the show kicked off with, Kurt Angle in the ring addressing the Raw locker room, right, about what happened happened last week when SmackDown Live invaded Raw and did the whole Under Siege. And he talked about how he let Shane McMahon's, friendship with him get to him, how, he made everyone pay the price because of that. And he apologizes as he's doing all this, right? Out comes Stephanie McMahon, the commissioner of Monday Night Raw, right? After not having her on Monday Night Raw since WrestleMania. And everyone goes crazy. Oh, great, she's back. Awesome. If she's in the ring, she talks about Kurt Angle, how he's been doing an amazing job as a general manager, how, she respects Kurt, right? And all that. And how about the three I's, intensity, integrity, and intelligence? But all that literally went down the drain when SmackDown Live and their Under Siege took over Monday Night Raw. And she now says that, hey, there's a fourth I, if you will, incompetent. That's the fourth I for Kurt Angle. And how the punishment for Kurt now is that, hey, since people think that he still has it, because people were chanting that you still got it, which I think at times, let's be real about it, can be beaten down to death way too many times. Like, your mailman can show up, right, who hasn't dropped the mail into your house in, months or years or whatever. Oh, you still got it. No. I'm just saying, okay? It's just been beaten to death. And she names Kurt Angle the captain for Team Raw come Survivor Series. And you know what? I kind of had that feeling that was going to happen. You think that too, what happened last week with Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle. I would not be surprised if Shane McMahon is the captain of SmackDown Live, as I think he should be, right? He should be the captain. You know what I'm saying? And you go back to the whole Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon. Granted, it won't be the same like it was back in 2001, but just the fact that we're seeing that right now on one of the big four, why the hell not? At the same time, though, because Stephanie said, and if Team Raw doesn't win, right, then Stephanie McMahon will probably start looking for a new Raw general manager. Now, a part of me feels this is where they're start planting the seeds for WrestleMania. What I mean with that is, hey, we'll probably see Kurt Angle versus Triple H. And this is where they start planting those seeds, right? I'm not saying that Raw will lose, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in a couple of weeks from now, we will be seeing Triple H on Monday Night Raw. I could be wrong, but I think that would make a lot of sense. Before I continue on, I want to listen to the playback real quick on the stream. I want to see if I can hear myself here. All right, cool. I can hear myself here. The comments here. All right, cool. Awesome. So that was the opening segment of the show. And then we had what was supposed to be Bayley versus Alicia Fox, who's the current captain of the Raw women's team coming up at Survivor Series, right? So Alicia Fox comes out dressed up as a captain. She has like the whole captain's hat, whatever. And she talks about how she needs to take this whole captain role serious, right? So because of that, she will not be competing against Bayley, but she found Bayley a replacement, that being Nia Jax. And the crowd kind of goes crazy for it. Not like crazy, but sort of crazy if you kind of get what I'm trying to say with that. And they have the match, and I'll be honest, the match was just there. Bayley had her moment. It was like your typical small girl, big girl match where, you know, the small one will have some momentum against the big person, but eventually the big person here gets to win. Bayley, and as it should be, it made a lot of sense, because the last thing you really want is to have Nia Jax come back after, you know, being gone for like a week or two, or even like a week, and then have her lose to Bayley. But again, it was just there. Nothing really exciting to talk about here. And then we had the return of Samoa Joe, and he talked about how, you know, his return and how he, you know, literally missed nobody, and how everyone's just lying that they missed him, what have you, and that he feels sorry for his opponent, because whoever is going to be his opponent, he's going to take out all the frustrations, all the BS people were saying about how they allegedly missed him, what have you, which really wasn't true. And that being Apollo Crews. The match, I'll be honest, was just there. Just a good way to showcase Samoa Joe being back. Don't get me wrong, Apollo Crews had some offense, but it really nothing to like brag about. When it was all said and done, Samoa Joe won with the Coquina Clutch. And after the match, Titus O'Neil tried to get involved, like try to, you know, look after, you know, Apollo Crews. And he gets choked out also in the end, which, again, whatever. We get an Intercontinental Championship match, because apparently The Miz showed up late to the arena, and Kurt Angle did not like that, and as a punishment, he had to defend the championship against a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent ended up being Matt Hardy. The match, I'll say this, it was okay for a televised championship match. There were moments where you thought where Matt Hardy would win the match, and it didn't happen, of course. The Miz won with the skull-crushing finale. And I'll be honest, too, you know, with the idea that at Survivor Series, we'll be seeing Baron Corbin, who's the current U.S. champion over at SmackDown Live, and The Miz being the Intercontinental champion on Raw, is heel versus heel, you would think that one of them will have to drop their belts before Survivor Series. And I thought, hey, maybe, just maybe, here's where Miz drops the Intercontinental title. But I'll get to this match later on in the review, okay? Because I feel like this could have been another placement on the card for the purpose that for what happened tonight with the return of Braun Strowman. I got a lot to say about that, sort of. We then had a squash match for Asuka. She went up against Stacey Cullen because, again, Emma wasn't there because she got released. It was a short match. They didn't go long. Just Asuka being Asuka. Went with the Asuka lock. Awesome. We had Daniel Bryan backstage trying to talk to Kurt Angle, trying to make amends, saying that he had no knowledge of Shane's siege attack, and Angle refused to listen. And he told, he told Bryan that, hey, if it was up to him, he would send Daniel Bryan out there and get attacked by the Raw locker room, but he's not going to do that. He wanted Bryan to stay in his office, right, so they can sort this out. And you see Daniel Bryan on his phone, right? He's talking, I guess, to Brie Bella. I don't even know. And the lights go off. The lights go off. It's dark. And you think to yourself, okay, the lights are off. Like, bro, you can turn the lights on. You know that, right? You don't have to be on your phone when the lights are off. Like, you can turn them right back on. I'm pretty sure, right? And out of nowhere, I hate saying out of nowhere too many times, but I just keep on saying it. I don't know why. I feel like out of nowhere now became the new around the point, but it is what it is. He gets chokeslammed by Kane in the dark. Like, you don't even see the chokeslam. Like, it's all dark, and you see, I guess, Kane through the light off Daniel Bryan's cell phone, and he chokeslams Daniel Bryan through, I guess, the table that was there. I don't know. It is crazy because it got people talking. Wait a minute. Did Daniel Bryan take a bump? A table bump, of all things? right? Now, then you see him getting stretchered out, what have you. Reminding me back of him back in 2014 when he was getting hurt during the ring, getting stretchered out. Who remember WrestleMania 30 when he got stretchered out and then came right back out to finish off that triple threat match. But I'll be honest too. People are saying, "Oh, Bryan gonna come back to wrestle. He's gonna come back. His Kurt Angle's gonna come back. We'll have with the gold medals. We'll see Bryan back with the kick pads and the beard. Honestly, I don't know. It's a reach right now, but we'll see where things go. Really, to be honest, I don't see it happening. I just think, hey, it's a spot that they just did to hype up Kane because, again, Kane's now a monster, right? What have you. So there you go with that. We then had Finn Balor versus Cesaro, where Sheamus at ringside. It was an okay match for what it was. Probably the best match of the night, if you ask me, for what these two guys could do. And granted, these two guys could do way much better. I'm going to say that right now. Finn Balor and Cesaro, that is. But for the match, for what it was a good back and forth match. Sheamus tried to get involved, but to no avail. There's a moment where there's a moment in the match where Finn, he does like this the suicide dive on the two guys, and then he hits Cesaro with the coup de grace on the back of the head for the 1-2-3. So that was that overall. Honestly, again, it was a good match, all the hell you want, but these two guys can do way much better somewhere down the road. These two guys, again, can have a better match somewhere down the road, and I would not be surprised if they end up having that eventually. Okay. After this, from what it looks like too, also, I'm going to say this also, from what it looks like, we'll probably even see, I would not be surprised, next week, just to say, shits and giggles, right? Sheamus versus Finn Balor. Two Irish guys. Awesome. And then after this, as Finn Balor's leaving, what have you, he's leaving to go backstage, what have you, Kane comes out and he literally takes out Finn Balor once again. He literally tombstones Finn Balor on the entrance area, right? And they're making it seem like, oh my God, how sick of Kane. This is so freaking sick by Kane to do. I'm like, wait a minute. Don't you guys remember many years ago that Kane tombstoned Linda McMahon off the entrance area when the whole entrance area was all like metal? Have we forgotten that already? Just saying. All right. After this, we had Kane versus Seth Rollins, because apparently that's what Kane came out for. The match was just there. Again, it's an okay match. But it was all said and done, Kane defeated Seth Rollins with a choke slam. And after this match, right, you have Ambrose getting attacked by Kane. And also, you had Kane. So again, Kane, Dean Ambrose gets attacked by Kane, even though Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Kane. But to no avail, because again, after you had at ringside, you had Cesaro and Sheamus, who were literally at ringside. They attacked Ambrose, and they gave Kane the chance to pile drive Ambrose, and then do the same thing to Rollins. So literally, Kane takes out in one night 2 members of the Shield and Finn Balor. Whoop-de freaking do. Awesome. Just awesome, I guess, right? I don't know. We then had the downhill of the show. Like, again, the show sucked, but this really made the show suck even worse. Like, oh my God. Like, again, the whole notion of them doing holiday gimmick matches is so ridiculous. Like, can you imagine them having a 420, get high on the pole match? I'm just freaking saying. I don't know. Or can you imagine Easter? Like the Easter Bunny ear match? I don't freaking know. Or the egg hunt match? Or you can't get the gist, right? I can come up with a million of these. I can literally come up with a million of these, all right? You had a All Hallows Eve trick or street fight. Rhino and Slater, who were dressed as Santa and Mrs. Claus, to go up against Gallows and Anderson from the club. Keep this in mind, Gallows was dressed as Tex Ferguson, and Carl Anderson was dressed as Chad Too Bad from their gimmicks of Southpaw Regional Wrestling. Which, by the way, I thought for what that was cool to see them dressed that way. I'm talking about Gallows and Anderson, that is. Because, again, it's Halloween. I get that. But this match, Just complete, just terrible. No one cared. It's just one of those things where you just want it to end so freaking badly. Just let it be over with already. And let's be real about it. You all knew going in that if Anderson and Gallows lose every single time, you knew the outcome of this match already. And it just so happened to be they lost again after they decided to put pumpkins on their head. And apparently one of them couldn't see because they decided to put the pumpkins on their head. And just again, Rhino literally put Anderson through a table and then pinned him for the win. Just again, a terrible match. A terrible, terrible freaking match. OMFG, I know, Raheem Isaac. I know. Just complete, utter terrible. It's such, again, demoralizing. Because here's the thing, right? Here's Gallows and Anderson, right? They come from Japan, or I guess New Japan Pro Wrestling, with this huge momentum, and you want them to succeed. You really do. I'll be honest, at this point, I hope they get released. And I think deep down, they want to get released. Just so they can be free. And go right back to New Japan. Go back to tearing it up at Korakuen Hall. I'm just saying. But this was just so demoralizing. I just feel bad. And not just for Gallows and Anderson. I feel bad for Rhino and Slater. I guarantee you somewhere out there, Heath Slater was hoping he got released too. God damn, it's just so cringeworthy. Seriously. And after this, we have Elias coming out to sing a tale about Jason Jordan getting hit with the head from like last week with the guitar. But then was interrupted by Jason Jordan, who then smashed his guitar to bits. Wow. The feud's continuing on. I have no idea why, but just, whatever. I don't care about this feud, to be honest. We then had Kalisto versus Drew Gulak. Before the match took place, apparently now it's when it looks like Drew Gulak is now the mouthpiece for Enzo Amore. So that's what it looks like. He's like, I guess, representative, what have you. I would not be surprised if there's a PowerPoint being made right now to tell us how awesome Enzo Amore is, right? Here's the thing about it too, right? We all know that Enzo Amore as an in-ring performer is terrible, okay? But we cannot deny that this guy is a good talker, all right? Why would someone like him, who's a good talker, need a mouthpiece? And by the way, didn't Drew Gulak and the rest of the cruiserweights at one time beat up Enzo Amore a couple weeks ago? So why all of a sudden, why is all of a sudden is Drew Gulak helping out Enzo? Look at 3MB now. I know. Look at 3MB now. Seriously. But again, you just wish that, again, if you're Heath Slater, you just wish he got released. I don't know. But again, that's what it looked like at the end of it all. Enzo Amore put the boots to, Kalisto, held up the cruiserweight title, and that was it with that. Yeah. And then we had, also during this whole night too, you see The Miz and Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas trying to celebrate, what have you, but they go into the locker room, they see a trash can. They see a garbage bag, and they're putting everything together, and they find it's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's back. And they're paranoid, right? Well, Miz is paranoid, right? And it's funny because Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, hey, listen, if anything happens, we have your back. Even though we were not there at TLC, we have your back now. And Miz was like, okay, now I'm worried. Then the Miz bumps into Kane backstage, and Kane's like, well, you're on your own. We're not a team. And then you see Miz bumping into the Bar. And the Bar telling Miz to fuck off, you're on your own. So Miz is paranoid, right? And you see him trying to leave the arena early in the night with, Axel and Bo. And Angle's like, what the hell? You show up late, now you want to leave early? No, you stay until the entire ending of the show. That's how long you stay. You cannot leave now. You have to stay till the end of the show. Or if not, consequences will happen. I'm pretty sure another Intercontinental Championship match with a mystery opponent. Maybe, just maybe this time. Probably Heath Slater. I don't freaking know. But yeah, so Miz is paranoid. Miz is nervous and scared throughout the night, okay? Because Braun Strowman is apparently back. But then we get the main event. Why this main evented is beyond me. Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James. Okay, listen. I understand everyone wants women's wrestling. It's a revolution, what have you. Here's the thing. I am all for women's wrestling, but I'm sorry. They do not have to main event every single time. I'm not saying every single time, but I feel like as of late, they've been main eventing Raw. You do not need to close Raw with the Raw Women's Championship match. No, you do not. This match, I'm going to say this right now, sucked. It sucked because people were just dead for this match. You know it's bad when they start chanting CM Punk throughout the night, which people should definitely get over. Get over it. It's never coming back. He's never coming back. Move on from that. Move on now. Seriously. Okay? And I'll be honest, going into this match, I thought for a minute that, hey, maybe, just maybe, Mickie James might get the win. She just might get the win. And you know what? And I say it because I feel like, again, you can't have, again, at Survivor Series, you cannot have Miz and Baron Corbin, heel versus heel going at it, nor Natalya versus Alexa Bliss, heel versus heel going at it. Okay? So I thought maybe, just maybe, to throw everybody a curveball, they'll have Mickie James finally get the win. Because apparently, if you think about it, every single time, right, on Raw, so it seems, there's been a Raw Women's Championship match where the title changes hand, right? So you assume, hey, maybe, just maybe, Mickie James finally gets the win. She finally becomes the 7-time Raw Women's Champion. And no, didn't happen. Bliss retained by literally punching Mickie James in the face for the 1-2-3. And that's all. I'm botching right now. I know. And that's how they closed, the match. That's how they end the match. What have you see Alexa Bliss celebrating, going back in time as the bathroom breaker overall. I know. Believe me. So then after this, right, you see Alexa celebrating in the ring, what have you. Then you go backstage and they put the focal point back on The Miz. Literally trying to get into the limo, rushing the limo driver. And apparently, as they're leaving, they stop the limo because apparently they're being blocked by a garbage truck. And is the most weird, stupid thing I've ever seen. So this garbage truck literally is backing up backing up close to the limo, right? Or the little minivan, what have you, right? Where the Mistarages, are in. And the mouth of the back of the garbage truck opens where all the garbage goes in. It opens up. And the belief is that Braun Strowman came out of that garbage truck. It's funny because if that was the idea, Braun Strowman should have came out smelling like filth, smelling like trash, having moth all over him, right? But no, he comes out fresh and clean like a whistle. Like he just came out the shower. And he goes off to chase the Miztourage. They go to the ring area, and literally Braun Strowman catches up to all three of them. They head to the ring, and it seems like Braun Strowman is finally going to have the opportunity to get his hands on The Miz, to no avail. But instead, Curtis Axel is the one to fall victim to Braun Strowman. And just literally throwing power slam after power slam until they go to the announce table area where Braun Strowman hits the power slam on Curtis Axel through the table to close the show. And that was Monday Night Raw. Again, just so much of a terrible show that sucked. I am, again, nowhere near excited for Survivor Series. They failed to do that for me tonight. I'm very honest here, okay? If anything, go back to watch, I guess just binge watch Cesaro and Balor. But even that's kind of like meh, but whatever. Again, such a demoralizing show, a demoralizing holiday match, and just get this again. I wonder what SmackDown gonna do tomorrow. I wonder, right? I'm pretty sure, if anything, maybe Natalya is the one to lose her belt. I don't even know, but we'll see. guys, give me thoughts now. Oh, before I move on, before I wrap up the stream here, I want to give my quick thoughts on the big news that came out today regarding the big announcement that happened regarding Raw 25th anniversary. So, Raw will be celebrating this 25th anniversary on Monday, January 22nd. It's going to emanate from the Barclays Center and, get this, the Manhattan Center. That's right, the same Manhattan Center where they aired the first Monday Night Raw back in 1993. And apparently, for this event, you're going to have legends returning, such as The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash. That's crazy. And the thing about it, too, right? I remember Saul Monster, I think last night on his latest podcast, the Saul Monster Sounds Off, he said that it would be cool, if Raw were to go back to the, to the Manhattan Center, not the Grand Ballroom, but, the Hammerstein Ballroom for the 25th anniversary show. Or just have a Raw there, period. But the fact that they're doing this and the Barclays Center, it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to work out. You're simulcasting in two places. I wish I could go to this show, but honestly, with my work schedule, early morning, I doubt it. But it should be fun. It really should be fun. But I guarantee you, 25 years ago, they did not think that they would have Raws that would be this bad like we have tonight. Let's be real about it. But again, guys, give me your thoughts down below. Your thoughts on, on this Raw as a whole. How bad and just how much of a cringeworthy show it really, really was. All right, follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. And again, also, before I wrap up the show, a big shout out to the homie himself, Salrex Gaming, for the awesome layout that you see on the screen. If you, again, are a YouTuber or a podcaster out there and you want awesome layouts for your YouTube channel, YouTube videos, or your podcast, hit him up over on Twitter at Salrex Gaming. He's done layouts not just for myself, but for OKFabe, Dadass Podcast, Saul Monster Sounds Off, and Joe Cronin of the Joe Cronin Show, just to name a few. All right, guys, I am out. Yeah, this Raw. The faster I forget about this, the better. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace. It's wrestling and whatever. Brr.